What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Remote Front Office. Before we get started, again, as per always, if you guys could leave a like, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on. We are 3 times a week on this channel, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We are slowly approaching the NBA season, and along with that comes NBA 2K. So the gaming channel will be brought back from the dead for like the 5th time or whatever it is that I gave up on that game. So that'll be coming back as well. So you guys are going to be seeing plenty more content, whether it is basketball related, 2K related, etc., etc., etc. Today we are talking about the Los Angeles Clippers offseason. Last year, granted, the last 4 years at this point, the Clippers have had championship aspirations, right? And through injuries and injuries and injuries, they have not lived up to those expectations, right? Personally, I'm at the point now where I'm not putting them in my Western Conference Finals teams. I'm not putting them in my NBA Finals teams until I can see Kawhi and PG both play 3 consecutive playoff series, right? It's just the point I'm at with this team, honestly. I've understood the core of how this team was built. I've understood the philosophy. I've liked the philosophy. I've backed the philosophy. It's just when your 2 stars are as inconsistently on the court as the Clippers' 2 stars, it makes it very difficult to justify not having guys that can fill what they do at some percentage, right? Like you have for the Lakers even, right? You have Austin Reeves, who is not LeBron James by any means, but he can handle the ball, he can score, he can facilitate, he can do all these other things that at least are some percentage of what you need, right? Whereas the Clippers, you've had the attempt at John Wall, you've had the Robert Covingtons, the Batums, you have all these guys where you've built this team pretty well around this group of guys. It's just without these group of guys, the team doesn't. There's not enough there for the team to be able to steady the ship while they're gone, right? But let's go ahead and get into the losses and additions. Not a whole lot here because, again, it's the Clippers, the pretty hard capped as far as roster moves and et cetera, et cetera. We'll get into a couple other things. First loss, and it's probably the biggest loss out of a guy that signed for a minimum deal. Eric Gordon went to Phoenix. I really liked what Eric Gordon brought to this team. He can play your pseudo guard position while you have Kawhi and Paul George on the floor. He's capable defensively. He stretches the floor. Solid build, so he's not really undersized. Personally, I really like the fit for Aaron Gordon on this team, and he made sense, right? Just him fitting with this team made perfect sense as far as the closer goes. Added, they drafted Kobe Brown out of Missouri. Not super familiar with his game because, again, I don't watch a ton of college. But if he's not going to be a star or at not least like a top 7 guy, not that big of a deal, right? And then they also grabbed KJ Martin from Houston. I like this one. The one thing I will say is it seems like they keep trying to bring in these guys that fell out of rotations, and they fell out of rotations for valid reasons, right? They tried it last year with Bones Highland. Bones Highland fell out for his attitude, and he fell out for he's just not quite there yet, right? And they tried to bring him in, and it was good value, but you're trying to win a championship. You can't be throwing flyers out on these young 20-year-old guys who don't have the playoff experience, don't have just the general backing of a veteran player, right? It's just you got to bring in solid, proven guys like Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon was a perfect trade for them, in my opinion, and you let him walk. But that's the additions, and then re-signed. We have Mason Plumlee as their backup center, and then Russell Westbrook, who for the value you got him for, why not, right? Obviously, we all knew Russell Westbrook wasn't going to make $40 million a year or even $20 million a year, but the fact you brought him in for the amount you brought him in for, and he seemed like he understood his role with this team really well, and he played as hard as he could. That's all you can ask, right? That's it. That's all you can ask for. But that is all the moves they had. Mainly because, if you guys don't remember, the initial rumor for the Harden trade, or well, I guess there was a couple of rumors, right? It seems like the Clippers are trying to bring in a guard, right? We've been having this issue for a couple of years now with the Clippers. They've needed some sort of point guard, some sort of facilitator, and they just haven't quite found that yet because that's not what Paul George and Kawhi are. They're okay passers, but they're not run your offense, set the offense, set a tempo type players, right? You tried to bring in John Wall last year, didn't quite work. They were initially contemplating bringing Malcolm Brogdon, probably for the better. They didn't because of his injury history along with the other two guys. I mean, granted, in theory, Malcolm Brogdon's a perfect fit, but injury-wise, I can't have that on that team, right? And then now the newest rumors have been James Harden. Now, Philly doesn't seem like they're moving him. Harden has said he wants to be moved and has made some very outlandish statements as far as getting moved. There was a brief Dame rumor, but they don't have enough for Dame, so it doesn't make sense. This team needs a facilitator, right? The idea of Russell Westbrook works. The problem is he doesn't provide spacing. So he's not necessarily going to be great for these closing lineups. Kawhi's not a volume three-point shooter. You're probably going to have Zubac on the floor closing most of the time. He's not a shooter. Like you're really limiting your offensive stretchability with certain lineups with this team. As far as expectations go, I mean, it's a tough one, right? Because like I said, I'm done putting them as possible finals contenders. I'm done putting them as Western finals contenders. They need to prove it to me that they are going to be able to be healthy for multiple playoff rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a somewhat decent regular season. I believe that they are probably closer to like a 5-6 seed just because you have to pencil in the amount of games Kawhi is going to miss. You have to pencil in the amount of games that PG is going to miss. And so with that, I think they're probably a 5-6 seed currently, maybe a play-in team. But I think the last couple of years of seeing what the play-in did to them, I think they're going to try and avoid play-in type games, right? Because those are just extra miles you're putting on your top guys and just more of a chance for them to get hurt, right? So I think they skip the play-in stuff. I think they try a little bit. Ty Lue seems like he's been sending a very strong message of I need these guys to play, and I need to know on a night-to-night basis, right? So I'm assuming that they're a 5 or 6 seed. As of right now, I'm putting them as they go tops to round 2, right? Because, yes, when these guys are on, they're one of the best forward duos in the league. But as I've said 15 times already, you have to play the games, right? So I personally am of the mindset of they're probably not going to play. You get through one playoff series, and then you're going to have to face a Phoenix, a Lakers, a Denver, etc. And one of the guys is going to go down. You're going to lose in 6. That's where I'm at with this team right now. Let me know if you guys feel a different way, if you guys have a different opinion, or if you guys agree down in the comment section below. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.